Hello, my little mathematicians. Today I'm going to help you get started on your writing algebraic equations homework. Okay, so I'm going to do numbers 1, and I'll do number 7, and I'll do number 10 with you. Okay, so first off, I like to underline the important words here. So you have times, and then wherever I see is, I like to underline it twice. So that way it kind of separates one side of the equation from the other. And is means equals. So that's why I underline it twice. It even looks like the equal sign. So on this side is the 7, and then on the left it says 2 times a number. So remember, we don't want to use an x to represent multiplication anymore, and you don't even need a dot. Just have your number touching your variable. And then you could use whatever variable you want when there's an unknown number. If you have to type it in, I'd say use an n. But at the same time, you technically could choose whatever number or whatever letter you want. Okay. You don't have to write a dot. You don't even have to write parentheses. And we prefer to have the number in front of the variable. There you go. Okay. This one, let's find the word is. I'm going to underline it twice. Okay. And then my other keywords, I see quotient, and then I see subtracted from. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. The reason for that creepy music was whenever you see subtracted or deducted from or less than or fewer than, okay, from or than with a subtraction word actually moves that to the back. Okay. So it's not 3 minus something, it's actually 3 being subtracted from something. And what am I subtracting 3 from? I'm subtracting it from the quotient. So I'm dividing what? And whenever you have the word quotient, like whatever comes first is on top, and it's being divided by the second thing after the word and. And we don't know what it is. It just says a number. So you can use any letter. I'm going to use an N. Okay, that is, so equals 9. There you go. I wrote my equation as I read it. And again, it's helpful if you see the word from or than, I like draw an arrow to remind myself, like move it to the back. And then I underline the word is twice. Okay, now for these other guys, there's this big space for plan here. There's multiple ways that you can come up with a plan to change this story into an algebraic equation. Okay, you can make a table, you can write out like in a sentence with symbols and then try to plug in what you know. Okay, as long as your thinking process, that's what the plan is, to then help you write the algebraic equation. And then don't forget to tell the reader what does your variable represent. Okay, so you're defining your variable that you used in your algebraic equation. So it says Richard is selling candy bars for $4. By the end of the day, he made $152. Write an algebraic equation for the story to help find out how many candy bars he sold. And then actually, the paper version that I have, it cut something important off. It says right here that he gets to keep half of the money he earns. Okay. So then write an algebraic equation for the story to find out how many candy bars he sold if he ends up actually being able to make $152. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. So I think the easiest thing to do for this one is I'm kind of a little confused because it would be really easy if this extra part wasn't here, because I'd basically just take, well, however many candy bars he sells, I'm going to multiply that by 4, and that's going to equal the total amount of money I make. And I'd be done. And I'd plug in, he made 152, so I'd plug in 152 here. And it would be 4 times the number of candy bars equals 152. And then I could figure out how many candy bars he sold, right? However, because of this added in sentence, that makes this one a little bit trickier. So I'm going to say the number of bars, okay, that he sells, and then the money he gets to keep. Okay, and I'm just going to like write some for instances, and then that'll help me be able to figure out the pattern. So I know if he sells 1 bar, that's $4, and he gets to keep half of the 4, so that would be 2. Okay, if he sells 2 bars, that's 4 and 4, that's $8, and he gets to keep half of that, so that's 4. If he sells 3 bars, that's 3 times 4, which is 12, and then he gets to keep half of that, so he would keep 6. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking, he sells them for 4 times however many he sells, and then if you divide that by 2, that's how much he gets to keep. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, so 2 times the number of candy bars he sells is the amount of money he's able to keep if he's only able to keep half the money. Okay, so actually, if I had seen that from my little table right here, because like, you can kind of do the math and like figure out this part just like we did, and then look at the pattern. Yeah, what could you do from 1 to get to 2? Oh, I could add 1. Well, does that pattern hold? Is 2 plus 1 equal to 4? No. So let's scratch that. How else could I go from 1 to 2? I could multiply it by 2. Let's see if that pattern holds. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 2 is 6. So then I could say, however many candy bars he sells, if I multiply that by 2, I'm going to get how much he keeps. So the number of candy bars would be C, and then for how much he keeps, it would be 2 times C, right? So my equation would be 2 times C equals the amount of money he gets to keep. But then they told me, okay, well, he gets to keep $152. So I'm going to say 2C equals 152. And this is why it's important sometimes to use variables that like make sense in the equation, because then you know what to plug that 152 in for. Is that talking about the number of candy bars he sold or the amount of money that he made? Okay, it was the amount of money he made. That's why I plugged it in for the M. And then define the variable that's left in your algebraic equation. The C that's left there stands for the number of bars sold. And there you go. Okay. I defined my variable so that the reader can know what that variable is standing for in the algebraic equation that I created. Okay. If you were curious, I would take 152 and divide it by 2, and that would tell me how many bars he sold. And he sold 76 bars. But is that what it's asking me? No, it's actually asking me to write the equation. So that's it. That's all I need to do is write the equation and then define the variable for the reader. All right. Don't forget to finish all the problems up top. And then there is a second page. So don't forget to write those algebraic equations as well. And again, you don't have to do a table. Sometimes that's helpful to help you make sense. You could also maybe like write out a story of what's happening and then plug things in. Whatever plan helps you get to your equation. All right. You got this, my little mathematicians.